Hello, community, and welcome back to another Keeping It Real with Dr. Nita podcast. I am your host, Dr. Nita Polite Wilson, C-Suite Trusted Advisor and Board Director, helping members of the C-Suite reframe diversity conversations from difficult to different. I am back with my guest, Ms. Lisa Holmes, and we're talking about how do we ensure that belonging is the gift that keeps on giving year-round, not just at the holiday season, but all throughout the workplace. Lisa, I understand that recently you took a trip to Barcelona, and the reason that I want to talk about that is the fact that we had talked about employee experiences and how that leads to employee engagement and how that leads to workforce sustainability. Mm-hmm. And one of the three practices of thriving communities is the practice of the table. So tell us about what you learned about culture in Barcelona through food.
Oh, wow. So, first of all, this was my very first time in Spain. And getting there and seeing the architecture was just amazing, right? The cathedral, just beautiful. However, when we started to have dinner with the team and I get to the restaurant, everything is about tapas. So little small dishes, right? So you can have like a buffet of every single thing that's on the menu, right? Little bite-sized pieces. And they love the tapas. But along with the tapas, they have stories that they will tell. Like, my grandmother used to make this and she did it this way. Or this is something that's a staple, like patata bravas is one that's a staple at most meals, right? And the sauce that goes on it. And it was just a whole cultural kind of experience through food, right? And, you know, I came back home and tried to recreate some of what I had experienced there because it was just really, I think, enlightening and was good for my soul. Because when I got there, they embraced you really through their food.
And I know it was good for your soul because it was good for mine, because when you did get back and you started practicing with some of the things you tasted for your cooking show, I got to be a benefactor of that. So yes. That was very, very good food.
That's right.
So I know that you have baked 3 of your favorite cookie dishes for us today. Yes. I would like to see what you have, and I would like to hear the stories behind these cookie dishes.
Well. So this is my shortbread cookie that I dipped in chocolate and pistachios.
Yeah, I thought that was pistachios.
Yes.
Ooh, community.
So,
I wish you could see this. It looks good.
I love pistachios.
Can you see that, community?
Everything for me is pistachio ice cream,
right?
Pistachio something, right? So I find a way to put it on salad, right? And so for me, that cookie was always like a staple at my grandmother's house because it's easy to make and it's always the simplest ingredients that you have at home. Even if you don't want to dip it in all of what I love, right? It was the very simple thing. And so she would just go in the kitchen and boom, boom, boom. Next thing we know, shortbread cookies, right? It was a big thing for kids.
And it didn't take much money or much effort, but there was a lot of love in that.
Yes.
And so when we talk about creating experiences in the workplace, it doesn't take a whole lot of money, but it takes some creativity and some love.
Right. And I think the thing about it is it's also intentional.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's very intentional that you make something that you want to give to your family and it's love and you enjoy seeing them enjoy it, right? And so, and so the other one is white chocolate with raspberries. Now, I love this cookie because one, it's easy, like you can make a bigger batch and it freezes really well, so if you want to take them out and pop them back in the oven at any given time you can. But it kind of reminds me of a couple different things, like the holiday, right? We always associate cranberry and white chocolate with the holidays, right? And then this is a kind of a traditional snickerdoodle cookie, right? So pretty simple, just a little bit of sugar and cinnamon on the outside. However, I like to take it up a little bit. And inside I stuffed it with dulce de leche sauce. So when you break it open, it has that like creamy middle to it. And it's almost like having Christmas, right, in a little cookie. Yeah. Because all of a sudden now you have like a little surprise in the middle.
I like that. So this reminds me of back in the day, which is not that long ago, community, when we had potlucks at work. And you're talking about this one in particular with the pistachios on it and how that reminds you what your grandmother did. When we have potlucks in the workplace, it's not just about, seeing who brought what, but it's about those stories.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about that.
And it can take you on a cultural journey.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because oftentimes employees will bring the dishes that are near and dear to their heart in some way, either family or, right, they can go back and reminisce about a time when they had this. And so they will tell you that story when they're serving you the food. And it might be something that you've never tried before, and that's also great because you want to have that experience. They're taking you along their journey.
Exactly, their life's journey.
Yes.
And so community, as I'm sure you already know, it's really not about the food, it's about the stories of someone's family, culture, history. I know that this past May, I was in New Orleans with a client, and we actually took a cooking class together. And let me tell you, not only did we make some delicious food, we had an experience that we shared together, memories that we built that gave us a sense of belonging. Lisa, can we taste the cookie?
Absolutely we can. Absolutely we can.
I'm gonna go for this one. This is the raspberry
white
chocolate. Okay.
And this is always my favorite.
Oh my goodness. And I love it. Look, the crust is so crispy.
And so, one of the things that I love about this shortbread cookie is it doesn't have a lot of sugar to it.
No.
And when I'm having my tea, there's something about this little cookie and a cup of tea that just like has a pick me up that, is priceless.
Kind of like a hug for your taste buds and your heart.
Yeah, and it takes me back to a moment in time when I think about my grandmother in that moment.
Yeah. Community, the practice of the table and the importance of having potlucks at work. Now, even if you're still in a virtual environment, you know that you have meetings virtually. You know, you can have everybody go and say, all right, for this next meeting, come back and bring us something in the house that's a favorite dish. Give us the story behind it so that we can get to know you better. So don't limit potlucks just to being on site. Get creative, as Lisa said. Make that part of your next virtual meeting. Or you could just have a virtual potluck. It doesn't have to be part of a meeting. This was special, Lisa. Thank you so much. In our next conversation, we're going to talk about the second of the 3 practices of thriving communities, which is the practice of the commons. Until next time, remember that if you liked this podcast, you want to see it again, or any of my previous podcasts, please go to my website, drnita.com. In the upper part of the landing page, click on the link that says Keeping It Real with Dr. Nita Podcast. In the meantime, remember to share, like, subscribe. And if something about this conversation helped you reframe diversity conversations from difficult to different, share it with your network. Until next time, this is Dr. Nita reminding you to stay blessed and keep it real.